The Galactic Archive hummed with a soft blue glow as Keeper Vornith adjusted his primary eye stalks, focusing on the holographic display before him. His guest, Ambassador Kelrix from the Vrindian Confederacy, stood beside him with all four arms crossed in what could only be described as deep skepticism. "So you are telling me," Kelrix began, her voice dripping with doubt, "that the humans submitted their entry to the Dangerous Species Registry, and the Council actually approved it?" Vornith's mandibles clicked in what passed for a chuckle among his kind. "Oh, they did more than approve it, Ambassador. They created an entirely new classification system because of it." The hologram flickered to life, displaying a creature that made Kelrix take 3 steps backward. The thing had 4 legs, a tail that seemed to move independently, pointed ears, and eyes that gleamed with an intelligence that felt almost predatory. Its mouth hung open, revealing rows of sharp teeth and a disturbingly long tongue. "By the 7 moons," Kelrix whispered. "What manner of apex predator is this? How many human colonies did it destroy before they contained it?" Vornith paused, his translator chip struggling to process what he was about to say. "None, actually. They keep approximately 70 million of these creatures in their homes." Voluntarily, silence filled the chamber. "I'm sorry, what?" "The species is called Canis familiaris," Vornith continued, pulling up another image. This one showed a human child, barely reaching maturity, with its arms wrapped around the creature's neck. Both appeared to be, and Vornith shuddered as he said it, smiling. "The humans refer to them as dogs. They are, according to human records, man's best friend." Kelrix's breathing tubes flared. "Best friend? That thing could tear through reinforced plating." "Oh, it gets better," Vornith said, unable to hide the edge of hysteria creeping into his voice. He had been the archive keeper for 40 cycles, and nothing, absolutely nothing, had prepared him for the human submission that he scrolled through the database, each image more terrifying than the last. A massive creature with brown fur that appeared to weigh as much as a small cargo vessel. A sleek black specimen with eyes that reflected light like a nocturnal hunter. A white one with blue eyes that seemed to pierce through the very fabric of reality. "The humans have selectively bred these creatures for thousands of their years," Vornith explained, his voice taking on the tone of someone who had long ago given up on understanding the universe. "They have created over 300 variations, each with different traits. Some for hunting, some for guarding, some for, and I quote, being cute and fluffy." "Cute," Kelrix repeated, her voice rising an octave. "Cute. That was my reaction precisely," Vornith agreed. "But wait, there is more. Much more." He pulled up the next entry, and Kelrix made a sound that her species typically reserved for encountering singularities or tax collectors. The creature on screen was smaller, covered in fur, with eyes that held the cold, calculating gaze of a creature that had mastered the art of psychological warfare. "Felis catus," Vornith announced. "Common designation, cat. The humans keep approximately 95 million of these in their homes." "Please tell me those are herbivores," Kelrix said weakly. "Obligate carnivores, actually. Highly efficient hunters." The humans documented that on one of their continents, cats were responsible for the extinction of multiple species. And yet, he gestured helplessly at the screen. They continue to keep them. They even created a communication network called the Internet primarily, it seems, to share images and videos of these creatures. Kelrix moved closer to the display, studying the cat with the fascination of someone watching a disaster unfold in slow motion. What possible reason could they have for maintaining such dangerous creatures in their living spaces? The human who submitted this entry, one Dr. Marcus Holloway, stated, and I am reading this directly, "They're soft, they purr, and sometimes they sit on our keyboards. What more do you need?" "Sanity," Kelrix suggested. "Self-preservation instincts. A basic understanding of ecological safety protocols." Vornith's expression, as much as his species could form one, was grim. "Ambassador, we have reviewed 47 different species that humans classify as pets. We have not even touched upon the reptiles yet, or the birds, or what they call pocket pets. There are more. So many more," Vornith confirmed, pulling up a file that seemed to stretch into infinity. "And before you ask, yes, we contacted the human authorities to verify this information. We were certain it had to be some kind of elaborate prank or translation error. And they sent us a 5-hour video compilation titled Funny Pet Moments, along with a formal invitation to visit Earth and meet their companions in person. Vornith shuddered, remembering the chaos he had witnessed in those videos. One human family had 2 dogs, 3 cats, a bird that could replicate human speech, and something called a hamster running in an endless wheel. Kelrix was silent for a long moment, processing this information. Finally, she spoke. The Council needs to know about this. If the humans are comfortable living with such dangerous predators, what does that say about their own capabilities? That, Ambassador, Vornith replied quietly, is exactly what concerns me. 3 solar cycles later, Ambassador Kelrix found herself standing in what humans called a veterinary clinic on Earth, specifically in a settlement named Portland. Her diplomatic immunity badge felt significantly less protective than usual. Dr. Marcus Holloway, the very human who had submitted the archive entry, stood beside her with the kind of relaxed posture that suggested he was not surrounded by apex predators. He was, in fact, holding a steaming cup of something called coffee and smiling. So, Ambassador, Marcus said cheerfully, ready to meet some good boys and girls. Kelrix's translator struggled with the phrase. I do not understand. Are we meeting young humans? Oh, no. Marcus laughed, and the sound made Kelrix's defensive plates ripple. That is what we call the dogs. All dogs are good boys or good girls, regardless of their actual behavior. Before Kelrix could process this bizarre contradiction, a sound erupted from behind a nearby door. It was deep, thunderous, and made every instinct in her 4,000-year-old evolutionary biology scream run. Ah, that would be Bruno, Marcus said casually, moving toward the door. He is a Tibetan Mastiff. Absolute sweetheart. The door opened, and Kelrix experienced what humans might call a religious moment. The creature that bounded into the room was not just large, it was architecturally significant. Its fur was thick and dark, its head roughly the size of Kelrix's entire torso, and its bark could probably be registered as a seismic event. Then it saw Marcus and did something that made Kelrix question the very nature of reality. It wagged its tail. The entire back half of the creature wiggled with what could only be described as pure joy. Its mouth hung open in that same expression she had seen in the archive, tongue lolling to one side, and it made a sound somewhere between a whine and a whimper as it approached Marcus. Who is a good boy? Marcus cooed, his voice rising to a pitch Kelrix had never heard from a human before. Who was the biggest, fluffiest good boy? Bruno, apparently aware that he was indeed the good boy in question, proceeded to sit down and offer Marcus his paw, which was roughly the size of a dinner plate. He wants you to shake his hand, Marcus explained, noticing Kelrix's frozen posture. It is a greeting. That creature could decapitate you with a casual movement, Kelrix managed to say. Sure, but he won't, Marcus replied, shaking the massive paw with genuine affection. Because he is a good boy. Aren't you, Bruno? Yes, you are. A small human child, no more than 8 rotations old, ran into the room and threw herself at Bruno. The massive creature immediately laid down, allowing the child to climb onto his back like he was furniture designed specifically for that purpose. That is Marcus's daughter, Emma, a new voice said. Kelrix turned to find a human female in a white coat. I am Dr. Lisa Moreno, the veterinarian here. You must be the ambassador everyone has been talking about. Your young are permitted to interact with these predators? Kelrix asked, watching Emma bury her face in Bruno's fur. Bruno grew up with Emma, Lisa explained. He thinks she is his puppy. He would fight off a bear to protect her. What is a bear? Lisa and Marcus exchanged glances. Let us put a pin in that conversation for now, Lisa said diplomatically. Would you like to meet some of the other animals? Before Kelrix could formulate a polite refusal, a small orange creature sauntered into the room with the confidence of someone who owned not just the building, but possibly the entire planet. It looked up at Kelrix with green eyes that seemed to judge her very soul and found it wanting. This is Marmalade, Lisa said. He is a cat. Marmalade approached Kelrix, sniffed her lower appendage with obvious disdain, then turned around and presented her with his rear end before walking away. Did that creature just insult me? Kelrix asked, genuinely uncertain. Oh, absolutely, Marcus confirmed. Cats do that. But if Marmalade really likes you, he might vomit a hairball on your shoes later. It is a sign of trust. Kelrix was beginning to understand why the Galactic Council had been so disturbed by the human submission. "Let me show you something," Lisa said, pulling out a small device. She played a recording that showed a cat, similar to Marmalade, leaping approximately 6 times its own body length to catch a small flying creature midair. Cats are extraordinary hunters. Their reflexes, their ability to calculate trajectories, their retractable claws designed for maximum damage. They are perfect predators. "And you keep them in your homes," Kelrix said flatly. "Well, they keep us, really," Marcus interjected. "There is a theory that cats domesticated themselves because they realized humans were useful for providing food and warmth. We like to think we chose them, but honestly, they probably chose us." A loud squawk interrupted the conversation, and Kelrix looked up to see a large bird with brilliant blue and gold feathers perched on a stand near the window. "Hello, beautiful," the bird announced in perfect human standard language. "Want a cracker? Want a cracker? Marcus is a dork." "That creature speaks," Kelrix observed, her voice remarkably calm considering her internal panic. "That is Rio, an African gray parrot," Lisa said, shooting Marcus an amused look. "And yes, someone taught him that Marcus is a dork." "My wife has a sense of humor," Marcus muttered. Rio tilted his head, studying Kelrix with unsettling intelligence. Pretty bird. Pretty bird. Aliens are real. I knew it. He has a vocabulary of approximately 200 words, Lisa explained. Some parrots can solve puzzles designed for human children. They can use tools, understand concepts like zero, and they mate for life. Fascinating, Kelrix admitted, despite herself. But surely these birds are kept in secure containment? He has a cage for sleeping, Marcus said. But mostly Rio just hangs out wherever he wants. Sometimes he rides around on my shoulder. Your species, Kelrix said slowly, has creatures of extraordinary intelligence and capability living in your homes, eating your food, and you refer to this as companionship? Exactly, Marcus beamed. Now you are getting it. The final demonstration took place in what Marcus called his backyard, and Kelrix was fairly certain she had made a terrible mistake agreeing to this visit. Vornith had sent her 17 messages in the last hour alone, each one more panicked than the last. But she had committed to this diplomatic mission, and her people did not retreat, even when faced with the impossible. Okay, so before we wrap this up, Marcus said, his enthusiasm somehow growing rather than diminishing, I wanted to show you the really special ones. There are levels to this madness. Kelrix asked weakly. Lisa laughed, a sound that seemed wildly inappropriate given the circumstances. Oh, Ambassador, you have no idea. Marcus, should we start with Pancake or go straight for the existential crisis? Pancake, Marcus decided. Let us ease her into it. He opened a glass enclosure that Kelrix had assumed was decorative, and out slithered a creature that made her defensive plates lock into full combat position. It was easily 2 meters long, covered in scales that shimmered like precious metals, with a tongue that flicked out to taste the air in a way that suggested it was analyzing her molecular composition. This is Pancake, Marcus announced proudly. She is a ball python. Had her for 6 years now. The snake, Pancake, wrapped herself around Marcus's arm with the ease of long practice, her head coming to rest near his shoulder. She appeared to be, and Kelrix could not believe she was thinking this, content. Snakes, Lisa explained, are reptiles. Cold-blooded predators that some species can unhinge their jaws to swallow prey whole. Pancake here eats frozen rats that we thaw for her. You store prey animals in your food preservation units. Kelrix stated, no longer phrasing anything as a question because reality had clearly given up on making sense. Well, yeah, Marcus said, gently stroking Pancake's scales. She has to eat. And before you ask, yes, she has escaped her enclosure exactly 4 times. We usually find her in the bathroom because it is warm. Your family is not concerned about a predatory serpent roaming your dwelling. Emma thinks it is hilarious. Marcus shrugged. Last time, Pancake was hiding in the laundry basket. Emma just picked her up and brought her back. No big deal. Kelrix was beginning to understand something fundamental about humans, and it terrified her more than any of the creatures she had encountered today. Now, Lisa said, her expression shifting to something that looked almost mischievous, for the piece de resistance. She whistled, sharp and clear, and the response was immediate. From around the corner of the house came a sound that Kelrix's auditory sensors identified as multiple heavy creatures moving at speed. She activated her emergency beacon, prepared for evacuation. 3 dogs rounded the corner, but these were unlike Bruno. They were lean, powerful, and moved with military precision. Behind them came Emma, riding on the back of the largest one, laughing with absolute delight. "Down," Marcus commanded, and all 3 dogs immediately dropped to a sitting position, though their eyes remained alert and focused. "These are retired military working dogs," Lisa explained. "The big one Emma is on, that is Sergeant, formerly of the K9 unit. Next to him is Radar, explosive detection specialist. And the smallest one is Whisper, search and rescue." "Your military employs these creatures?" Kelrix asked, pieces of a very disturbing puzzle clicking into place. "For centuries," Marcus confirmed. "Dogs have served alongside human soldiers in countless conflicts. They detect dangers we cannot sense. They track targets across impossible terrain. They protect their handlers with their lives. There are monuments built in honor of military dogs across our world." Sergeant walked over to Kelrix, and she froze. The dog sat down directly in front of her, then very deliberately offered his paw. "He wants to shake hands," Emma called out. "It means he likes you." With her entire diplomatic corps probably monitoring this interaction, Kelrix slowly extended one appendage and touched the dog's paw. Sergeant's tail wagged once, twice. Then he stood and walked back to Emma. "You must understand what you are telling me," Kelrix said quietly. "You are saying that humanity has taken predators, creatures designed by evolution to hunt and kill, and transformed them into family members, into soldiers, into companions, not through force or technology, but through mutual affection." "That is exactly what we are saying," Lisa replied. "It took thousands of years of trust building and partnership. We gave them food and shelter. They gave us loyalty and protection. We evolved together, in a sense." Marcus set Pancake gently back in her enclosure and turned to face Kelrix directly. "Ambassador, when your people look at our pets and see dangerous predators, you are not wrong. But you are missing the point entirely. We do not keep them despite the danger. We keep them because we recognize something in them that reflected something in us. The capacity for loyalty, for love, for choosing family over instinct. And that," Kelrix said slowly, "is what truly concerns the Council. A species that can turn apex predators into beloved companions is a species capable of anything." "Pretty much," Marcus agreed cheerfully. "Want to stay for dinner? We are having barbecue, and I promise Bruno only begs a little bit." 3 months later, Keeper Vornith received an update to the human file in the Galactic Archive. It came from Ambassador Kelrix herself, and it was remarkably brief. Species assessment, humanity. Threat level, recalculating. Notes: any species capable of inspiring loyalty in natural predators through genuine affection should be approached with extreme caution and, paradoxically, absolute trust. The humans do not conquer. They befriend. This may be far more dangerous. Postscript: I have submitted an application to adopt what humans call a golden retriever. His name will be Ambassador Fluffington. Do not judge me. Vornith read the message 3 times, then looked at the image Kelrix had attached. It showed her, all 4 arms wrapped around a large golden-colored dog, both of them appearing to smile. That he filed the report, updated the human classification to Category Paradox, and began researching Earth's adoption procedures for cats. After all, if you cannot beat them, you might as well join them, and maybe, just maybe, get one of those good boys everyone kept talking about.